Hello Cancer, welcome to your monthly forecast. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be taking a look at the month of September. You can use this for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. A quick reminder that I put out new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Friday. I do daily 1-minute readings as well, and you can catch my Sunday live streams for a glance at the week ahead. Now, let's get into this month's forecast, beginning with channeled messages, then we'll take a look at the cards. In channeled messages, basically this is my connection to spirit. I had 3 primary areas that were coming through. One was surrounding reciprocity and balance. The other one was about authenticity, and then moving to a sort of higher energy, a higher ground, if you will. Let's get started with the first message surrounding reciprocity. What I was picking up on was 2 different people with 2 different reactions to one another. There was a feeling that one was really interested and the other was aware of the interest but didn't want to communicate disinterest. So trying to be polite, trying to send signals. The truth of the matter is, not everyone can pick up on subtlety or body language or even the tonality of communication. It is sometimes preferable to simply state the truth in the best way possible, in the kindest and most elevated way. Simply saying, thank you, but I'm not interested. Whether it's a job offer, whether it's love, whether it's friendship, whether it's some sort of an extracurricular, it doesn't matter. The same thing goes through because that person, the other party, is looking for someone that they can count on. It may be you that's looking for someone and you're getting mixed signals. Know this. If you're consistently having a difficult time getting someone to do something, it might be better to look for someone who is more reliable, more connected, more on the same page, because oftentimes people just have a hard time saying no. But this message for you is about creating and then maintaining balance. 2 of Pentacles is featured in this card because it's basically saying make a choice, what matters most. 6 of Pentacles is discerning, and it's basically saying, well, that's my choice, so how much can I give to this and this to make sure that I'm still accomplishing the goal? That's what you can do, and by saying yes when you truly mean it and no when you truly mean it, that's going to be important. So creating balance, creating boundaries, establishing and maintaining that throughout the month. This will make you happier. This will also help you attract people who have done the work and are able to do the same thing. It's not easy to say no sometimes, but it's really powerful because when you let go of something, you create space for something that is a match. Again, whether it's something that you're doing like a job or activity, or it's a person that you're spending your time and energy on, you really want to make sure that the connection is both ways. As I move to the second major message here, it's about removing your mask and just being yourself. And also, if you get the sense that someone else is putting on a facade, ask the tough questions, trust your intuition. This is why I featured the High Priestess. Because in dreams, I was able to see beyond a sort of made up face or a mask that someone was wearing, and I could see the true face beneath it. So it was a toss-up. I'm like, it's either the Moon card because we're seeing a projection reflection rather than the source, or it's the High Priestess because she can see through all of that. I put some powerful things at the bottom of this, which is basically, it's time to release the old templates, archetypes, and break free from expectations that others are projecting on you. Stepping into your own truth is going to be a key theme this month. And when you see the power in yourself or whatever it is that you want to do, others can see it too. But the High Priestess, she's magical and powerful because she believes in her intuition and she acts upon it. And so this is a chance to really do that. Remove the mask, allow for the truth to be seen, let others know that you see the truth in them too and you value that, and then believe in yourself so others can do the same. It sounds simple, but it may take a little bit of meditation and work this month. I do believe you can do that. Meditation is a key component to success. And then finally, I felt this wonderful energy of elevation. Like there was helium that I was inhaling and I kept going higher and higher with each step to the point that I really didn't need to walk anymore. I was floating. For me, this is always great. Of course, it's an energy that you feel when you're doing astral projection, but when I'm focusing on a sign and I get this message, it is about higher ground. Being able to break through a pre-existing glass ceiling or your own sort of restraints or constraints that you put upon yourself. New paths are being opened to you, but you have to keep reaching for the star or the stars. And I have a mantra that many of you know if you watch my channel. It's using I can, I will, I am. So I can do it. I will do this. I am doing it. It's basically affirming it in all tenses, in all directions. So that's what is really coming through for you. And again, if we kind of back it up to the beginning here, establishing and maintaining the balance is going to be the most important, and using yes and no when you truly feel the yes and the no. Seeing things as they truly are and trusting that and acting upon that. And then as you start to see new channels and opportunities open up, same thing holds true on that. It's all about what you decide to do with it. The difference between successful people and people that may struggle to manifest is basically that successful people know what they want to do and they don't hesitate to take the steps. So your action is super important this month. Let's give the cards a shuffle. Again, just a reminder, you can use it for sun, rising, moon, any aspect of your chart really that you would like to. Welcome everyone. It's so good to see you. I'm going to remain quiet here for a few moments while I give this a shuffle, and then we'll see what's in store for you. Okay, everyone, welcome. Let's take a look at all the cards here, starting off with your dual catalyst this month. And so this is your presenting energy. This is what can help it. And it's kind of interesting. It's almost like a cell dividing when you look at it this way, which is really cool. Nectar, very nicely tied for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere to this period. We're at the very sort of latter portion of summer, so things are coming through to fruition. Now, there could be some exciting developments or some surprising developments for many of you, so it's going to be important to be mindful of things that are going on in the periphery. Really listen to what's happening and really tune in. We had that High Priestess energy earlier as well. Now, some of you may be pulling that final thread. One last thing needs to kind of be looped in, and that's going to get you, it's almost like I'm seeing like a 10 of Pentacles in my head, very close to coming to fruition, because this Nectar card is about fruition, and this card is about making sure that no stone is left unturned, that you've done everything you need to, and that final thread when you're creating something is done and tied off, okay? So down to the final detail, make sure that you do it. It's worth it. This may not be the fun part, but we see the rainbow on this card, pushing through doubt or uncertainty, and then you get the payoff here. You're very close to the payoff. Some of you are already in the throes of that, and if you are, good for you, okay? The Nectar is also about looking at the sweet or enticing pieces of life and reminding yourself again why you're working so hard for certain things. Sometimes we need that extra bit of basically motivation, right? To understand and to ground our sort of purpose. All right, now let's take a look just at the Celtic Cross itself, get a good feel for this month. Again, this will take you through the next 6 to 8 weeks. As we're looking at this, I couldn't help at the beginning but notice this big cyclical change here. And we have Hilarion on the side here, which is about divine healing. And it says, honor your sensitivity, repeat retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. So we have a card that says, I'm ready to heal my heart. Isn't it interesting also that we see all these threads? We'll talk about that in a second. We see something coming through to completion. Then we see change, rebirth, something new. And we see the moving on card. So it definitely is a month to heal and rebound and to really do some exciting things in that rebounding energy. All right, let's take it one card at a time, starting with the beautiful world at the center of all things. So this is probably one of the ultimate cards indicating big movement in your life. This is everything you wish the tower could be. It's elevated change because it means moving up, moving on, moving out, expanding beyond previous expectations, pushing through limits. There's really not anything to be afraid of whenever the world comes through. Sometimes we just fear change itself, but it's happening. There are two words on this card, death and rebirth. Rebirth is the second one. This phase is opening you up to that second one. And I can see for many of you, you had to go through the challenging piece, the death, the loss, the frustration first. Now things are moving in the right direction. So if you tuned in today just to get that clarifying thought, it's here at the center. You're on the right track. It may be necessary to change location for the next chapter of your life, to move in with someone, to move out of a situation. You might decide that you need to change your job, to change your trajectory. It should all be about elevation and expansion. If there's anything contracting your energy right now, it's probably not what you should be focusing on. Crossing this card is the Ten of Wands. This is my favorite Ten of Wands, probably in any deck, because we see here that the person is beyond the struggle. She's gone up the hill, she's hiked up the hill, now she's coming down, and she's learned the importance here of sharing the load. This is not a burden Ten of Wands where the person's kind of hunched over, carrying all of that weight on their back. She's learned how to delegate, how to say no, how to share things. She also feels this sense of, I did it. She's not feeling the struggle anymore. So whether you're there or not, this card indicates that you're en route to this. So try to stay motivated and optimistic and look forward to the day that you can just take a deep breath and think, okay, that was 100% worth everything that I went through. Also, this card is associated with travel. It can be temporary sometimes with this. You may also want to take a trip before you make a big sort of movement in your life. So if you were going to go to a new country or a new company or whatever it is, this can be a trial period. And then things sort of settle in once you've made up your mind. No matter what, these two cards at the center, that was the elevation that I felt too. To me, that's really exciting and enticing for the month ahead. Let's see what's coming through in your deep past. Some of you had to slow down for a little bit. You may have had to take care of someone or something in your life. And until that was taken care of, you couldn't move forward. So the first piece of channeled message that comes through for you, or advice I should say, is don't let this sort of feeling of I lost time or I lost trajectory come through. Instead think, I had to take care of that. You can make up for lost time now. This is one of the fastest cards you can pull in tarot. So it's better to move, I always say this, but it helps to repeat it. It's better to move with intention than simply to move or move with speed. Because sometimes if you're moving without intention or you're just rushing, you still have to backtrack. So you took care of what needed to be taken care of. For many of you, there's still just a smidge of healing that needs to be done. We need to tie that final thread, or for some of you, maybe cut the final thread, because there could be someone that's holding on to you or holding you back. So in this moment, you can say, I reclaim my power, I release that connection. There's no conditions on the love that I want to receive or to send to others. And so that's a litmus test right now. If people are putting conditions on how you need to be in order for them to accept love or celebrate you, it's not the right connection. And that was why I was picking up on reciprocity and masks. It's time to take the mask off and see really what's there, okay? Now, we'll get into this in a second, but what I love here, this is another elevation card. This is expansion of thoughts, knowledge, and experiences. it is the apprenticeship card. So some of you may be deciding to go back to school. This is the perfect time for that on the calendar. So for those of you that are students at any age, young or non-traditional student, this is saying, again, you've made the right choice. You may also be deciding to sort of like structure how your experience is going to be basically used in your life. And I've talked many times about how I thought I'd be doing something, but due to the changing world, changing technology, and the change in me, I had to just sort of say, nope, this is going to be another path. So you might be doing a very similar thing where you can repackage your expertise in a different way. And so she's looking at everything in front of her thinking, what have I learned? What can I do with this? And what am I going to do with this? Okay? So you may be at any one of those phases, analyzing, integrating, or planning. And you might do all three this month too. And if you're going to school, perfect. And if you're writing, this is a great card for those of you that are writers, composers, or you're putting together even like a technical manual. This is a really good thing because what you're putting out there is something, this is a card of publication and publishing. It has legs. I like what I see. Keep doing what you're doing. See it through to completion. Something is in the throes of change, needs to be changed, or is going to change one way or another. We have death and rebirth. Again, one of the best cards. This is, I'm using the Lightseers deck. I think it's a great deck to have as your second one. Most people should probably start with Rider-Waite-Smith, but this one is so beautiful in its interpretations. There's nothing in it that is disconcerting for the most part, which I like. Okay, so if we look at this in the upright position, death and rebirth, we can see straight to something new, this opening that I talked about with the world card at the center. But death is a gateway, and we're looking at it as something just closed, a chapter. You could have closed on an agreement like your house, for what is that called, escrow, something like that. You could be signing on the dotted line for something new in your life, a contract of some sort, marriage, or again, maybe buying a big ticket item or getting a job. Or something or someone has passed out of your life, and now you're trying to figure out, who am I without that connection? And it takes a little bit of time because you have to do the integration and the healing first. And everybody heals at a different sort of speed. And one thing that we learn is that you never have to completely replace or quote unquote get over something. You learn to live with the fact that that's not there, and you create other structures in your life. It's kind of like a tree that learns to sort of heal around something that was cut off. New branches will come out, but there'll always be a little bit of a scar and a remembrance of what was there. And that very much is what healing is like, especially if you've lost someone, or if you've gotten a divorce, or done some sort of key separation where something had to be removed. It takes a little bit of time. Make sure that you're giving yourself as much time as you need to integrate and to figure out who you are. Here's the good news, folks. This is exactly the order in which I want to see the Eight of Pentacles and the Three. This represents, again, learning or apprenticeship, and this is mastery. And what I love about this card is it's basically saying everything that you're setting into motion right now, you have a really great chance of seeing it to fruition. The main thing that's going to be important here, and this is why we got that thread card a few moments ago, but it's to look at the fine print. Expect here in the next 6 to 8 weeks that someone may come through and say, show me your sources, for those of you that are writing a paper, or where did you get this idea, or how did you know this? They might be wanting to see research, and if you're ready, that's going to kind of like knock their socks off and say, wow, you really do have this planned out. Here's your traditional Three of Pentacles, and they're looking at basically all of the prerequisites or the instructions, and they're comparing it to the final product. This is also a card of recognition. So what you can expect in this period is things are going to work. You're going to get recognized. You want to be prepared. You want to be ready to answer the tough questions. And you also want to be able to say, yeah, this is good. Yes, I believe in it. We were talking about the High Priestess, seeing and believing. If you not only can see and believe, but you can back it up with information, then that's why we have all of these cards just showing things moving. This is movement. This is movement. This is things moving around you. It's the sun here. These are new things coming in. And so I'm quite pleased with the overall energy. Yes, there's a little bit of things that you have to move through here, but you are going to be able to heal over. We were just talking about the tree kind of creating that bark around a limb that's no longer there, but then it starts to create new growth. So for many of you, there is that sort of loss of something, but a creation of something possibly even better than whatever it is that you've released in your life. One final note, and then we're going to move on to the next card. If you look at the colors on this, it doesn't match a traditional traffic signal. Usually it's red, yellow, green, and we have the red and the yellow, in this case orange, kind of mixed up. And so this is also kind of reminding you to not give mixed signals, or if someone else is giving mixed signals, to clarify and say, what did you mean by that? Or are you sure? Really get to the bottom of things so you're not wasting time on someone who isn't committed. That reciprocity, again, playing a really key role as we look at all of this. Now, in the environment, the sun represents something wonderful that could be coming into your life. So there could be something that is really connected to your soul's purpose. There could be a person that just has this amazing charisma. When the sun comes through, it can represent, like for those of you looking for love, this is often a lover's card, and it's like instant chemistry. I put this right on par with like Six of Cups and sometimes even the Magician. It's someone that you would get chills or butterflies or kind of be stammering for words when they enter in, because it's just that kind of bright energy. This is also a baby. So some of you may be birthing, or there could be a birth in the family because it's in the environment. And it could also be just an indication from spirit for many of you to let something go, because we have all of these cards of expansion, the expanding world, the 10 of Wands, and the 3 of Wands. And then even this, it's a window through which this wants to go through. So this is a time to move into, move out of, or release something. No more room for holding on, okay? And it's also a reinvention or rebirth card. So literally this has death and rebirth, and here's the birthing card here. It's something new awaiting in the horizon, in the environment. That's why I said be aware of what's going on, because it may not be immediately clear how the opportunity could be coming through, but you want to be looking in all angles and in all directions so you don't miss out on that. In this card, instead of putting a baby, we can see like the cell or the egg at the center representing that symbol of birth or rebirth. So there's nothing, again, it's really difficult to find anything. There's nothing negative to say with the world, the 10 of Wands, and the sun. These are good cards. So we see movement. We see possibly some travel or some news from afar, or for some of you, connection from afar that could be there for love, business, or just personal growth. It's good stuff, though, overall. All right, let's move on to hopes, fears, and opportunities. It's auspicious, no matter how you slice it. The 3 of Wands is showing that things are manifesting in real time. It's also, unlike the traditional 3 of Wands where a person is on the shore or cliff waiting for the ships to come in, this time they are both the person and the vessel. So we have a surfer. She's going to go out there and say, I know how to get there. I know what to do. I actually may not even need someone to meet me here. I am the source, and that connects with this. She's done the work. She's learned the lesson. She's found her power. She stepped away from something that didn't serve or suit her. And now she's saying, I am this sort of like everything that I've been working on manifest. So she's manifesting, creating. She doesn't have to wait. And I like that, especially because the traditional 3 of Wands is so passive. It drives me nuts. And it also requires the person to look at the right place. So she's overcome that simply by saying, I don't have to wait. I'm going to create. I'm going to be the trendsetter. I'm going to be on the bleeding edge this time. And so there you go. For those of you that want to do something unique or unproven, or you know that it's okay and you just need to kind of like set it into motion, she's there for all of that. Things can also happen a lot faster than you might realize with this card in Hopes, Fears, and Opportunity. So as we take a look here at your outcome, we have the Page of Cups. This is literally illustrated when reversed as head over heels. So some of you may be feeling this sense of overwhelming emotions. It could be love. It could be good news. It could just be heightened sensitivity where everything seems to be just a little bit more intense. If we look at it in the upright position, it's saying your wildest dreams could be coming true. They could be coming to fruition. And we saw that sort of nectar or fruit card coming through in your catalyst. And this is a chance to kind of embrace that if it is. If you're feeling a little topsy-turvy, if you're feeling head over heels, remember to also ground yourself in responsibilities, your day-to-day things that you've set out for yourself, and not to lose track of the big picture. But I quite enjoy seeing a positive card in the outcome because it's telling me that there is this beautiful rebounding and healing energy that we see. For some of you, the heart may have been disappointed or broken in the past. Now we see something new coming through. As I said before, this could be an upgrade. This could be something unexpected. You could even be disbelieving it a little bit. But as long as it feels good and as long as it is reciprocated, it's good. The last thing that I want to kind of hit on before we go into the expanded forecast is to remember what we talked about before, reciprocity. Do you feel it? Does the other party feel it? If you do, this is great. If not, then it's far better to speak your truth now. This goes back to what we talked about earlier with respect to reciprocity. This will free you up for better things and the other party if it's not there. Okay, let's go ahead now and expand the forecast and take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Beginning with the energy of health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. As always, I'm here to look at the energy, so if there's anything going on with mental or physical health, obviously work with a professional. That being said, the energy of health has to do with basically releasing fear. So one way is a call for love, and we were just looking at this card here, and if you look closely, there's these two hands coming together, so you can reach out and ask for help, obviously. Another way through fear is education. The more you know, the less you fear. And that's a key piece to, again, empowerment this month. And that's what we see here with the sun. So maybe there's something that makes you nervous, afraid, or you feel like you need more information. You get it, you learn about it, and you think, oh, I'm actually in a better place than I think. Things are going to be okay. I feel all right again. So all of that is comprised in that card. Now, specifically looking just at the spread here to see what else is coming through. Again, for many of you, there is just confirmation and also a bit of a push from the universe. If you know what you need to do to be happier and healthier, let's do it right here and right now. The time for a rebound and for recovery has come. This is a month of things getting bigger, better, and brighter, for sure. We can see that bigger, better, brighter, and learning and basically completely releasing a karmic cycle if you want to. And then the heart coming to a better place. How is this going to happen? For some of you, the cause of stagnation is location. So it's a move. For some of you, the cause of that feeling of being suffocated or stagnated is because there's a glass ceiling. And so in order to be able to achieve what you want, you're going to move beyond the glass ceiling, whether that's a place you're going to school or working or an environment that you're in. You've definitely outgrown it, like a big fish in a little pond. This is your chance to find a better match for you. So change of location, change in general. For some of you, maybe it's about going back to school because we saw the energy around learning and knowledge being really important. Birthing energy, so you're allowed to reinvent, change your mind. Or for some of you, if you want to stop things for a while and focus on family, that's definitely coming through as well. What I like about all of this the most is we see pain in the past, but we see change in the future, and we see positivity as possibilities. So it's all moving in the right direction. Slow down and deal with whatever it is that could be causing fear, because ultimately it will help empower you when you face your fear. And that's the big message in health this month is something seems a little bit scary or uncontrollable or whatever, but it comes through to teach and to kind of like redirect you so that you can see what the true calling is, where the true opportunity is. And once you do that, you're kind of unstoppable. So that's good. Don't, with the 10 of Wands, sometimes you can take on too much too fast. 7 and 10 of Wands, you can strain your mind, your body, pretty much your mind or your body. So carrying or lifting too much or taking on too many responsibilities. Try to avoid that. The 3 of Swords can also represent things in your life that are creating the sense of discord or discomfort, those strings attached, pulling you in directions you don't want to be. Obviously, this can also indicate a need to pay better attention to your heart health, and that's something that you'd want to work on with your doctor. All right, those are all your main messages for health. Let's go ahead and move on to wealth. This isn't just the dollar signs or money or figures in your bank account. More importantly, this is how you spend your time and energy. Yes, it's the abundance, but it's also abundance in multiple forms. So let's see what the cards have to come through. In this particular area, we have Hunter, track down your fears and desires. So we have a common theme. Something made you afraid, but you empowered yourself through education. You used your energy of passion and love to also overcome that. Now this is saying, have you learned your lesson? Are you doing what you love? And are you doing what you desire? If you do what you love, then you have a better chance of accomplishing the goals that you set for yourself. And this is really asking you to listen to your heart. I spent many a year working in many jobs that I didn't like because we all feel sometimes trapped or afraid or sometimes just not motivated, because you can be in any one of those places to make the necessary change. So this month, you owe it to yourself, if you feel that, I like that we have like an archer here, but it's basically to change your focus and to change your aim. There are too many positive cards here to stay still, basically, okay? So whenever I see a hunter card, I assign that with the ability to get what you want. But the hunter needs to practice and needs to take aim. So are you putting to practice your skills and repackaging them? We talked a little bit about that earlier. And are you on a daily basis trying to take aim and practice your skills? If you are, then you have a good chance of accomplishing your goals. Let's look at this with respect to resources. Well, you have two favorable cards. We have Eight of Pentacles, which is learning things, looking at the fine print, getting something signed. And then we have a recognition card here as a representation of you. So you came through this month as someone that people would look at as worthy and knowledgeable. I forgot to mention that when I was looking at self earlier. So this is a good time, as good as a time as any. And isn't it interesting that we see all these threads here? You're building better connections here in the future as well. So there's no reason to be afraid of this repeating, because you've gotten better at creating stronger relationships, better ties, better bonds. I like that for you, and I think that's going to help you out in the next 6 to 8 weeks. All right, also looking at things. As I said earlier, you and you alone are the one that can change stagnation if it exists. If a door is open, you still have to walk through it. It's not a guarantee just because an opportunity presents itself. You have to reach out, or in this case, you have to pull the arrow and release it, right? And this is also about release. There could be multiple opportunities knocking for you, because this can represent three. Some of you might be in a really auspicious place where there's 2 or 3 things. So embrace what feels best. It's all about passion, desire, and heart and love. So go into those energies, because you don't have to be unhappy to be successful. You don't have to sacrifice yourself to make others proud of you. This is a chance to integrate and to love who you are, where you are, and what you're doing. It's all coming together. It's worth going the distance. It might be worth making a move, travel, travel, travel. All of those are comprising that sort of energy of movement and expansion. I do see people embracing you, but the question is, do you feel worthy of it? Because there could be a little bit of that. That could block you a bit. This card is reversed, which can represent a need to revise. Also, if someone's sending you mixed signals, clarify what they mean before signing on the dotted line. This is a time to completely reinvent and reimagine. Across the board, it's pretty good. For those of you that are retired or students, if you're students, you might be changing your major. If you're retired, you're thinking of doing something just for you and just for fun. This is pure enjoyment. This is enrichment. This could be going back to school, believe it or not. This could be traveling, but for the experience of travel, not necessarily to learn, just to have fun, just to be there, and really just drink it in. It's not so structured, which I think sometimes we can take a trip or traveling and try to make it too much of a cognitive experience. It's all the senses. We need to just enjoy sometimes and be and soak it up. And for those of you that are retired, you may be looking for that kind of experience in this moment in time. Okay, let's move on to love and relationships. This one we have divine healing. This is definitely connected to that 3 of Swords in the past. Honor your sensitivity, retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. If you're ready or willing to heal, to help, to teach, to be a mentor, this could be a perfect time for that. Let's look at this through the lens of three major kind of relationship statuses. Those of you in a loving relationship, looking for love, or single and happy. If you're in a relationship, this is a month where it's basically you're either going to really expand and go next level, or things have moved to a place where it's kind of winding down, right? So it's either go big or go in another direction, because this is the expansive card. So for those of you in a relationship, you may not be married, but this can represent that decision to move in together, to go to that next level of commitment, whether it's saying we're exclusive or let's get married. And that changes everything. And it's a new phase in your relationship, and it could be really exciting. For those of you that have been in a relationship for a while, but the other partner, remember we talked about reciprocity, they feel it, or you don't feel it, or vice versa. You're really putting a lot in, but they're not doing it anymore. There's this moment, it's basically a realistic wake-up call. Are we going to continue down this path, or are we going to put in the work? This is work. And it's as close as you can get to a 50-50 because they're both learning. There is definitely one partner that's still putting in a little bit more, but can it work out? Yes. There is a partner in this particular scenario that likes to be taken care of and shown the way, and there's another one who leads the way. And you really have to ask yourself if you're okay with the dynamics, because they don't look like they're going to change that much. So I think that the most important component is communication. And we did get a Knight of Swords in the deep past, but maybe this communication has languished or slowed down. The Knight of Swords is always outspoken, but especially so when reversed. So there may be a need to revisit the frankness that you had when you were first dating, or in the past, and you haven't had that same frankness or honesty now. It needs to come back so that you can talk about what's important to you. Okay? If you're looking for love this month, yes, you can find it. It's karmic in nature. Whenever the death or judgment card comes through, it's an indicator of karma. The karma is interesting. The Three of Swords, for some of you, it was unrequited, or the cycle didn't complete. Maybe, there was an interruption in the love that you had, either through death or another lover or whatever. So this time around, what needs to come through, again, it's mutual admiration and equal energy. It's not one being better than the other, or one loving one and the other one not loving the other. You have to feel that reciprocity. If you feel it, go for it. If you don't force it. I get a very interesting, and I've seen this a couple of times, but the Sun card is very young. The Three of Pentacles is very learned. The Death card goes through several lifetimes. So we see someone here with wisdom beyond their years, basically. So the love that you're pulling in could be that kind of energy. We have a water sign here as the outcome. So there could be a water sign with this deep soul wisdom, past life connection, little bit of karma over trust and fear of losing people, because we have fear and healing, and love and healing here. So that's the main karmic lesson this time around. Okay. Should you be looking for love so much right now? I think once your location or your education or working situation has been sorted out, or just this healing, then yes. But until that, this may be a lot to manage. So make sure that you're settled. As much as I enjoyed floating up like a helium balloon, if big things are coming into your life, you also want to have one foot on the ground to make sure that you, kind of more like the temperance angel, you can have one foot in the ground, one foot in the water, or one foot in the ground, one foot in the air, but you don't want to be completely floating if you're trying to create something new. You need a little bit of grounding energy, okay? For those of you that are single and happy, it's a great time, because without being untethered being untethered to someone allows you to travel. For some of you to finish something that you intended to finish, to see a new opportunity and seize it, to put your energy into work and to money and to personal expansion. And those are the areas that are coming through. Yes, there could be partnership, but it seems to be more colored by professional partnerships or mentor-mentee sort of energy, learning from somebody. And the big energy is about accomplishing something. This is a goal accomplished. This is an unexpected kind of cherry on top as well, okay? Let's take a look now at your destiny card. We have the black egg, and it came through in the reverse state. There's a reminder here that an egg won't hatch on its own or overnight. I've watched this guy on YouTube that will sometimes rescue birds or help them if there's an egg that's not sort of like hatching in the way that it needs to, but they need to be moved. They need to be a certain temperature. And of course, at the very beginning, they need to be fertilized. So there is this caretaking for a dream, for any sort of ace in your life. So if there's a goal, a dream, or an aspiration, each and every day, you're going to take care of it. You're going to move it forward a little bit, and you're going to trust that it takes a certain amount of time to gestate and become exactly what it needs to. So don't rush it. Remember, in the deep past, the karmic lesson was to slow down. There'll be plenty of time once the egg hatches to catch up for lost time. So that's the main message there, is everything in cosmic timing. And not only that, to continue each and every day to move things just a little bit. With respect to the egg, it's just certain rotations that it needs so that the embryo basically develops properly. So what we can kind of like assign to our own lives with that metaphor is you don't need to move it forward all the way, to the finish line. You're just, each day, a little bit of movement gets you closer and closer to that dream coming true. All right, actually, before I show what I'm doing, we're going to now move along to the sun, rising, and moon messages, just to give you a clearer idea of the energy for this sign for this month. Sun, rising, and moon. So everything here is really positive. Here now we're getting to the nitty-gritty of why the Three of Swords came through. Let's get started with the Five of Pentacles. This card represents for many of you a chance to heal the inner child or to get over some sort of a rejection at any point in your past. It doesn't have to be as a kid. It could be last week. But whenever we have that sort of hit to our ego, it makes us retract a little bit and wonder, is it me? Is there something wrong with me? And the Five of Pentacles, particularly when reversed, is saying, no, it's not you. And not only that, but you've always had the key to open a new door, to reclaim your power. And the reversal of this card is basically the universe saying, don't let anybody come through and offer you less than you're worth, or to shut a door that you deserve to walk through. This is a chance to basically make sure that you're not stuck, and that you continue to advocate for what it is that you need to be happy, to be thriving. And again, if there's something that you've earned, to make sure that that's coming through. With respect to inner child healing, a lot of times this comes from a peer that wasn't there the way we needed them, a sibling, or a parent. It's the ones closest to us, even a teacher. But it's the ones that have a formative effect on us. And so each of you will value those relationships on different levels, but if there was something from the past that you're thinking about again, this is a chance to kind of go back in time and say to that inner child, not only can we do this, but we are doing this. I've got your back. I've learned more. I know more. I can help us get through this, and you're going to be okay. And this card invariably means just that. You're going to be okay. But there has to be a light bulb that clicks and a sort of switch that clicks where you are ready to advocate for more. So don't accept less than you're worth. Don't allow people to come in and take you for less than you're worth. And if you can do that, I feel like some great energy and shifts will happen right now. And then you'll start to attract people that are on the same level as well. Okay? With this card, there's also just a reminder to take better care of your lower extremities, particularly your feet, your ankles, the lower part of your legs. A lot of times you'll see someone on crutches on this. So some of you might have just gotten through an injury or an elective surgery, or you're just feeling like, I'm really tired, and you need to kind of like take care of that part of your body. Okay, let's move on from sun to rising. It's time for change. For the rising and ascendant in particular, whether or not you're ready to make the change, it's going to come through. Make the change. Because if you can get ahead of the tower, it's what I always call surfing that energy, then you're able to not be sort of like beholden to it and have to deal with the wake of the tower. You're utilizing its energy to create necessary changes in your life. Because we have two really big cards here, the World and the Death card, with death focusing on rebirth, You'll be fine. This is a good tower. It's just saying you need to maybe take the first step of the energy of change. Speak up, speak out, move up, move on, whatever you need to do in order to make the change. It's going to be all right. If you watch this late and you're like, Nicholas, I wish I'd seen it, the change is happening, then remember that one of the key components this month, it's all around overcoming fear and following your heart. If you can do that, the health, wealth, love portion of it shows you that that's going to kind of align your compass to help you move through the changes and be all right. A lot of times this can also indicate being between two homes or two jobs. You'll be all right, but you have to sort of, with this, make peace with ambiguity and then really figure out quickly what it is you want and what it is you can do to land on your feet, okay? Because this is head over heels, so you could be feeling the emotions of it and letting that sort of like take you in a rabbit hole that you don't need to be, okay? Ultimately, positive change with the tower, again, amplified by onward, upward, rebirth, reinvention, and hidden opportunities. So see this as kind of like this, a door that just needs to be opened, all right? Do the opening, that's what I'm gonna say. All right, let's move on to moon sign messages. This is moving beyond fear. Again, we have a lot of thematic elements that have repeated in different cards in different ways. She sees things sometimes as this. You and I can see it from a bird's eye perspective as this. She's worthy, she's capable, she's ready. So the opportunity here is not to give any extra energy to fear. Focus instead on hope, on love, on dreams, on goals. Fear doesn't have a seat at the table anymore. It's not welcome. And you can even meditate and imagine that your emotions kind of have personification. And you can just say, fear, you have no sort of dominion here. You're not welcome at this table. I'm working on empowerment, on love. And this juncture, I no longer need the lessons you offer me. So see the possibilities, not the limitations. If there are any fears or anxieties, plan for them, but don't fixate on them. And that's the main message with this. All right, we are now going to move along to your final question and the final card. Here's how this works. If there's something that I haven't yet answered for you, this is a chance for you to look at the cards in front of you and say, all right, Nicholas, I still have a question about insert the blank. So whatever that is, I want you to hold that in your mind, in your consciousness, in your heart. Let me shuffle the cards for a moment, and let's see what the answer is. You received the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. And this is basically saying for many of you, it's important now to focus on matters of money, personal development, and also just your general life direction. So the first piece of advice from the universe is these things are a priority. Maybe you've done a lot of energy in supporting others or looking out for others, but this is a period where you want to make sure that, for instance, when you're looking at your own retirement, your financial security, all of these things that you need to feel safe to overcome fear, that it's all in order. So if you don't have the answers, it's a chance to educate yourself or to talk to somebody to get the answers. It's also an indication for those of you that want to take a change, a shift, a movement in your career, that this is a good time to do it, because this literally would mean a change of fortune. So if things have been negative or challenging, or you've been dissatisfied, then it's saying make the change, just like we saw with the Tower card coming through, or that we saw at the center with the Wheel of Fortune. As long as it's something that your heart desires, that your mind feels engaged with, where there's mutual appreciation, good. As a karmic message, because we've seen this come through time and again, don't accept less than your worth. This is very much connected to what we were seeing in the expanded forecast. So really focus on contractual energy and money energy this month. Fight for what is important to you and what you're worth, and don't be afraid to make a necessary change. Don't focus on all of the fears in your life. Prepare for the worst, but expect the best. It's always good to be prepared and then to focus on the energy of possibility. And that's the message for today and for the month ahead. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, do me a favor, by the way, hit the thumbs up and leave me a message here below in the comments and let me know what your big expansion moment is. since I talked about kind of rising up, you can put a picture of a bird or a balloon or a plane and let me know what it is that you're going to do to go to the next level. If you'd like to follow me on social media, it's at Nicholas Ashbaugh on all major platforms. You can always go to my website if you have any questions about exactly where to find me and what my user handles are. A quick reminder that I do not offer any private readings, so if anybody does that here or on any other platform, you know it's not me. Same thing with direct messages. That's not how I communicate, so just a heads up there. Thank you so much to everybody that gave back. I appreciate those super stickers, super chats, all the memberships, and just basically your participation and showing up. So thank you for being here. If you want to make sure that you never miss a video, in addition to hitting the bell icon, here's my schedule. I'm here every Monday, Thursday, Friday, every Sunday, and then I do daily readings as well. So thanks everybody for hanging out here for a little bit. I hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you again soon. And from my heart to yours, I wish you all the best. Same thing with Mr. Apollo, who's resting in the background. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.